English, but there is a little bit difference. Okay, so here, okay, now I am recording here. Okay, so if you want to create a table, I am writing create table student. All right, okay, now I have to write the name of my column. For example, I want to create a column that is ID. Okay, so you can write any name to your column. It can be capital, it can be small. For example, I am writing capital. Okay, so this is the name of my column. Okay, the next one is the data type, like how, like which type of data I want to store in this. It can be date, it can be some numbers, it can be some ABC data, like textual data. Okay, so in ID, like if I am specifying serial number or ID, so it can be in the format 123, it can be in numbers. Okay, so I will use int. If you are specifying numeric data, then you have in programming in coding, you have to specify integer value. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you have to use int for that. Okay, int is basically for numeric values. Okay, if you want to store some numbers, then you have to use this int. All right, okay, after int, like with int you cannot specify a size, because int has a default size that is from minus 127 to 127. Okay, so this is the default size of this data type, integer. All right, so basically in this we don't need to specify any, you can say in this we cannot specify any size here. Okay, because it has a default size that is starting from minus 127 to 127. Okay, now after this, if I want to add another column here, put a comma after your column, go to the next line. Okay, you can also like add in this line, you can also add multiple columns on this line, but if you want to, this is the structure, for structure formatting, like for the formatting purposes, you can go to the next line. Okay, it will be easy for you to read something. Okay, now again I need to add another column, that is name. Okay, so I am adding, you can add name here, name. Okay, so this name is basically the, or student name, you can also write the name here, student name, but make sure to not specify space here, because in programming we cannot use space. If you are using space, then it will create some errors for you. Okay, so instead of using, like if you are not using space and you want to make this readable, then you can use this underscore. For space you can use this underscore. Okay, now this like I am assigning student name. All right, okay, so I am writing student name, my column name is student name. What will be the data type for the student name? Yes, varchar. Okay, so I will like inform, if I want to store some textual data, I will write varchar here. Now the size of your name, okay, it can be 10, it can be 20, 30, 40, any size you can specify within these round brackets. Okay, but the flexible size is max. Okay, like user can store multiple type of values, maximum values user can store. All right, this is the most flexible size that you can assign. Is that clear? Okay, so this is the name. All right, so now for example I again want to add another column. So if you want to add another column, you need to put a comma at the end of your column. Okay, now here I have to add another thing, like I have to add another column, for example gender. Okay, so gender will be male or female. Okay, so the data type will be varchar max, it will be the same. Okay, now here, now for example my table, I just need to store these 3 columns. You can store multiple columns here. You have to repeat these lines. Okay, for every column you have to repeat these lines. Okay, now I am like completing my query. So you need to, like we have here an open bracket, but we haven't closed this bracket yet. Okay, so now I need to close this bracket. Okay, so how you can close this? Just you need to, after this you need to close your bracket and put a semicolon. Is that clear? Okay, so this is the format to create a table. All right, okay, so here I will select the query and now I will execute this. If you have some syntax error in your query, the error will be shown here. Okay, but if your query is okay, then it will show you the message command completed successfully. Okay, command completed successfully. now I want to check my table. Okay, so with the help of query, how you can check your table. Okay, so now I will tell you how you can check your table. Okay, all right. Now how we can check our table? If I want to check my table, then I will use, if you want to select something from your table, if you want to see something from your table, then you need to write a keyword select. Okay, if you want to select something, like I want to select my table, I want to see my table, I want to see that in this table how many columns I have. Okay, so that's why I will use, if you want to see your table, if you want to check your table, then you will write select. Okay, select is the keyword. If you want to see your table, then you will write select. Okay, now for example, I am using here star. Star means if you want your table, the whole table. Okay, like if you want to access every column of your table, if you want to access the entire table, then it means you will use star. Star mean all. Okay, if I want to take all the things from my table, I will use star. Okay, star. Now from is the keyword, that is basically specifying the name of your table. Okay, so I will use from keyword, like select star, select something, choose something, star all. Okay, from some specific name, like I have created my table with this name, that is student, so I will write this name here. Okay, I will write this name here because I want to see this table. Okay, this is the name of the table that you want to see. Okay, after this you can put a terminator. Okay, I am repeating again, if you want to see your table, you can write this command, select star from your table name. Okay, so now I am basically executing this query. Now here you can see, here it is showing, like in my table we don't have any data now. We have 4 main columns, sorry, not 4, 3, ID, student name and gender, because we have created this table. Okay, so I can see my table. Is that clear? Okay, but now for example, instead of seeing all the columns, I want to see some specific column, I want to check some specific column. How I can do, like instead of using this star, instead of like, okay, let me like control Z. Okay, after this, wait a while, wait some time. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम। जी जी बिल्कुल, आप डिस्कनेक्ट हो गई हैं। एक्चुअली यहाँ पे लाइट चली गई है और मैं आपके लिए लेक्चर रिकॉर्ड कर रही हूँ, मैं आपको शेयर कर दूँगी। कोई भी प्रॉब्लम हो आप मुझसे पूछ लीजिएगा, ठीक है? अच्छा सर, alright, so here like I am how to see your table. Okay, so if you want to check some specific column from your table, okay, if you want to, like how we can choose specific column, one column. Okay, like specific column. Alright, now on the next line we will see how we can choose one column. For example, I don't want to see ID and gender, I just want to see this column, student name. Okay, so how we can write, if you want to retrieve, if you want to see something, you need to write select. But instead of okay, okay, if you have any question you can ask. Alright, but instead of using this star, I will write the name of my column, like this column I want. Okay, so instead of star I will write student name. Okay, so you can write student underscore name for you. Okay, select student name. Okay, then from, and after that select student name from, then your table name. Okay, so here I will write the name of my table, that is student. Okay, so because I want to access some specific column from my table. Okay, so if you want to select some specific column, then you can write select the name of your column from the name of your table. Okay, after that you can write this one. Alright, now here you can select this and execute it. Okay, so now it is showing, instead of instead of like showing one name to you, now it is like whole columns to you, sorry, it is showing one name, that is student. Is that clear? Okay. Now for example, like here we have like write some basic queries. Okay, now I want to insert some data into this table. I don't have any data in this table. Okay, now if I want to insert some values here, so with the help of query, like in Excel we are just writing 1 2 3 4 and the data. Okay, but if you want to write some query, like if you want to insert some data with the help of query, so how you can insert some data? Okay, so here we will see like how we can, with the help of code, how we can insert some data. Okay, I will just write here how to insert data in a table. Okay, data in a table. Alright, okay, if you want to insert some specific data into your table, then you can insert the data. Alright, but how? First of all, you need to write insert. Insert mean if you want to store some data into your table, you will write insert. Alright, insert mean I want to store some data here. Okay, after insert I will write into, means maybe I have more than one table in my database, so I will specify that in this table I want to store some data. Okay, maybe I have more than one table. Okay, so I have to specify that in which table I want to store, so I will write insert into. Into means like in this table. Okay, insert into. Now we will write the name of my table. Okay, so I will write the name of my table, that is student. Okay, so the name of my table is student. Here it is showing. Okay, I can pick this one, insert into student. Now I will start round bracket and I will specify the column names. We have three main columns. First one is ID, comma, ID is capital. Okay, here you can see it is showing ID. Okay, comma, the next one was student name. Here you can see it is showing me the column name. The third one was gender. Okay, so here you can see it is showing me the third column. Alright, like in these columns I want to store my data. Okay, after this you can also go to the next line, or you can work with here, you can work here. Okay, after this, these are the names of your columns. Now you want to put some values. Okay, so if you want to put some values, here you can write values. We have a keyword of values. Okay, values, not value. Okay, so you can write values, and then within this round bracket you can specify any values. Like for ID, first of all I will I will see this sequence. Okay, I will work with the sequence. Okay, ID, for example ID is 1, for example. Okay, now after comma I will write another data. Okay, the student name, but now I will not write the student. If for example, if I am writing the name, for example here your name, for example this one, it will create an error for me. Like whenever, now here it is creating error. Here you can see it is creating error. Why? Because if you are putting a value here, so you need to start if your data is in text form, is in ABC format, then you need to write your data in this single quote. Alright, if your data is integer, if your values are numeric like 1 2 3, then there is no need to like write your data in quotation. Okay, but if your data is in the text form, then you need to write your data in this single quotation. Okay, now this is the name of my student. Okay, the next one is the gender. So gender is also, gender was varchar. Okay, so I will use this one, like female. Okay, now for example I want to put another row for me. Okay, so how I will put another row for me? Like you can go to the you can put a comma here, or go to the next line, and instead of like repeating values keyword again, we will just write values for once. Not like, we cannot repeat this keyword. Just we will start our bracket, and then the other value 2, and then the name of my student. Okay, and then comma the gender of my student. Okay, so here I am entering some data. Now for example I want to store these 2 rows in my table. Now I will put a terminator here. I will select my query. I will execute this. Okay, it is showing me 2 rows affected, means I have added 2 main rows into my table. Now I want to see my table. Yes, now you will tell that how we can see our table. I have already told you. I want to see the data. So we have a query here. Select star from student. If you want to see your data, na? Okay, so if you want to check your data, like here I am writing check your data. Okay, so if you want to retrieve any data from your table, then you can write select star, because I want to retrieve all. Okay, so star from my table name. So what was the table name? Student. Okay, so I am writing here student. You can like specify a terminator here, choose your query and then execute it. Now it will show you result here. Here you can see we have 3 columns: ID, student name, gender, and in this we have inserted 2 main records here. Alright, is that clear? Okay, now for example, if I want to like for example, I want to, instead of like I want to search Hanifa, not you. So how I can search? Like means I have here, it is showing me the whole record of my table. Okay, wait a while. It is showing me the total record of my table. Okay, but instead of like viewing all the table, I want to view some specific data. Okay, like I want to view you or any specific student. Okay, so how you can view any specific student? View any specific data. Specific means like with the help of ID we can access. Okay, view any specific data. How we can view any specific data? If you want to view a specific data, then how you can do that? Like select. Okay, I will write select. If I want to view, then I will write, every time I will write select star. I want to see all the data, all the row data. Okay, from my table name, but with the help of ID. Like I want Hanifa's record, for example. So after this, okay, after this I will write where. Where is a keyword that is basically going to search some specific thing. Okay, so where, now I will write the column name. I will fetch with the help of ID. Okay, so fetch column name ID equal to 1 or 2, for example 2. Okay, so I am writing the same query. Okay, like select star from student, but where ID equal to 2. Okay, so now it is going to show me your record. Okay, so it is going to show me the record against this ID. Okay, it will not show me the whole table record. Now it is showing me your record. Okay, now it is showing me the specific record that is against some specific ID. Is that clear? Okay, so if you want to, for example, here you don't want to see some other data where what is ID, what is gender, so you just want to see some name against the data. So instead of using star, you can use student name, you can use gender, you can use any other column. Okay, so this is the basically structure, that how you can use these structures. Okay, so in this lecture I will stop here, because these are the too much queries. You have to first of all practice these queries and then we will move further. Okay.
You in the other class you insert the data from another way.
Insert the data from another way, like, okay, yeah, like okay, basically I was inserting, now I was working with queries.
Yes.
Okay, but I have already told you we have 2 ways, GUI and query. Now for example, I want to insert some data in this one, I want to create some data here. Now I will tell you how we can, this was the query. For example, if I want to insert, I want to create with the help of GUI. Now within this database I don't have any table, because I have created the table in my query database, not in this database. Here you can see I don't have any table. Okay, it is expanding, so it will it is not going to show me table. Here I don't have any table. Now I want to create table. First of all, how I can create table? Click on the table, right click on the table folder, go to new option, here click on the table. Okay, table, Now I will, first of all I will create a table, okay, and then I will insert some record with the help of GUI. That was GUI, okay. Now now it is query. You can do that, like here you can specify, like in query we are also, like when we are creating a table, so we have to specify column name. For example, my column name is ID. Then the next one is we have to specify the type, okay. So the next one was allow null. We can also specify, but I will show you the difference between allow null and null, okay. I will show you the difference, but now I am going to uncheck it, okay. So here for example name, okay. So I am writing name, I am specifying varchar for me, varchar 50 or max you can also specify, like for example I am specifying 50, you can also uncheck it. Now I want to save my table. I have, for example, I have like entered multiple columns here, okay. Now I want to save your if you want to save your table, you can simply right click on the top header section, then you can simply click on save table one. Now you can specify the name of your table, like for example student table, student table, let's suppose, okay. Okay, now you have to refresh it. It will like store a table for you, okay. Okay, but now it's too much slow, that's why it's not going to show, okay. Let me refresh it. You need to first of all disconnect and then you can connect. You can disconnect it from here and then you can connect it again.
Query is a little same access.
Yeah, in Access you can also write some queries here, okay. So Access is also a database now, okay. So in every database, if you are working with any server, the queries will remain same, whether you are working with Access, whether you are working with XAMPP server, or your server can be any, okay. Like you can use any server, but the query will remain same. You can write these queries on Access, these queries on XAMPP or any other server, okay. Okay, so here let me check. So my table was no, not this one, Excel. Now here you can see GUI and query, we have two databases, but I want to check my GUI table, okay. So I am clicking on this table. Now here you can see my table is student table. Now how I can insert a record into this, just go to like right click on this, you can go to edit top 200 rows, okay. So edit top 200 rows, okay. Here you can enter data, like for example I am entering 1, I am entering any name here, okay. So on the next, like here okay, so here you can write another name, you can write here any name. This is the GUI, okay. So you can do with the help of these, like if you want coding, if you want to do a code, you need to know like how we can write a code, how we can you need to know the specific structure of the code, okay. So here you can write anything, okay. Alright, okay. So here if you want to save your table, now you can, like table is already saved. If you are going to the next, the table is already saved. Now if you want to view this table, okay, so how you can view this table, like just click on it, okay, go to design option, okay. So you can check this table, okay. So here it is showing me the design of my table, okay. But if you want to see the data, now it is showing me the design, like in this table you have two main columns, but if you want to see the data, then you need to go to edit top 200 rows. If you want to see the data, then you need to go to edit top 200 rows. If you want to see the columns, then you can go to the design section, okay. With the help of GUI, like here it is showing me the record, we have three main like rows here, we have two main columns here, and we can, so the thing that I have already told you, that was GUI, and I have already told you we have two main perspective. I can do something, I can perform some action with the help of GUI, or I can do with the help of code, okay. So how we can like do, or how we can perform some actions with the help of query or with the help of GUI, okay. So that is the main thing, okay.